Welcome to Harvesting Clouds, where we take a practical approach to learning and leveraging clouds. This video is part of the series where we are comparing Azure VMs versus AWS EC2 instances. In this video, we'll see how to monitor EC2 instances. Let's say you have multiple EC2 instances and your customers or you yourself are facing some performance issues with your EC2 instances. Now you have to troubleshoot these EC2 instances. You have two ways to go about it. Either be reactive, that your customers have complained about it and then you are taking some action. Or you can be proactive, that even before anybody notices these issues, you set up automation or you set up email alerts. Then you get to know about these issues before anybody else does, and then you can take action on those particular issues. So let's look at the first part, the reactive part. Let's say some issue has occurred and we want to troubleshoot. We want to monitor the health of EC2 instances. To do that, I'm already logged into the AWS Management Console. I'll navigate to the EC2 service. I can either click on over here under recently visited services, or I can navigate to services section and then to EC2 service. Under the dashboard, I can click on running instances or I can click on instances under the instances category. So here, let's say this is the VM, account VM 101, for which I want to monitor how its CPU usage has been over the period of time. I'll navigate to the monitoring tab. And this is where all the monitoring of this particular instance occurs. So there are multiple metrics that are being displayed in this particular section, CPU utilization being one of those. Others are disk read and disk read operations, disk write and disk write operations. These collectively give you IOPS, network in, network out, and network packets related data, status checks, and then the CPU credits related data. For now, let's say we want to take a look at CPU utilization. I'll click on this particular graph and I'll get an even bigger view of this particular graph. Let's try to understand and break down what this graph is actually telling us. It is telling us what the average CPU utilization is for the last few period. What that period is, that is being defined by this time range. I can expand this time range to, let's say, last 12 hours, and you can see it has gradually increased from little under 0.5% to somewhere around 1.5%. So this is not much utilization. So because nothing has been running on my instance, that's why the utilization is so low. So now this average is happening on the CPU utilization numbers on my EC2 instance, but what is the period during which it is aggregating and calculating that average? That period is defined by this last drop down. If I'll select 15 minutes, that means the CPU utilization will be averaged over 15-minute slots. I'll see very fewer number of data points. These dots will reduce significantly. If I expand the period to, let's say, 1 hour, it will reduce even further, because now for every hour there is only one data point, and that data point denotes the CPU utilization number averaged over 1 hour for the last 12 hours. So there will be roughly 12 data points on my graph. You can tweak this number as per your requirement. 5 minutes give you detailed analytics into how your CPU utilization has been over the time range that you have selected. So this is one way, very quick way to look at the CPU utilization. Now, if you want to look at all the metrics that AWS is providing you, you can navigate by clicking on this particular button, View All CloudWatch Metrics. It will open up a new tab where CloudWatch will automatically be opened for you, and then you need to navigate to EC2. Over here, we'll look at per instance metrics. In here, if you want to, let's say, focus only on the CPU related metrics. By the way, all the metrics are shown here for all the instances. And then if I'm only worried about CPU utilization, I can enter that here. And then only that metric will be shown. I can click on this checkbox in front of the instance name And then a graph for that particular metric will be displayed on the top. Now I can select multiple metrics. Let's say if I need to select, let's say for networking related data, network in the traffic coming in, I can click on the checkbox for that and it will show me the graph on the top. Now let's go a little bit even deeper. If you click on this second tab, now you don't need to look at all the metrics. This second tab only shows you the metrics that you have selected in the first tab. I can even change the color of any of the metric being displayed at the top, and it immediately changes. This is the legend that is being displayed on the bottom of the graph. You can change this behavior as well. If you don't want to see a particular graph and you want to focus on only one graph for a minute, you can do that as well. And if I want to bring that back, all I need to do is click on this button again. The third tab is for the graph options. This is where you can select where you want this legend to be displayed. Right now it is set to bottom. If I select right, it is being displayed on the right side of the graph. If I click hidden, then that legend will not even be displayed. I can select the widget type as well. Right now it's a line chart. I can change it to a stacked area or just look at the numbers. And then if you scroll down, you can even control what is being displayed on the y-axis versus what is being displayed on the right y-axis. There are two y-axes because we are displaying two metrics on our graph. And there are various other options as well. For the source, it displays you the JSON data that you can leverage and include this particular graph in your application if you are building one with CloudWatch API. So this is one aspect of it. This is where you can monitor in detail how CPU utilization has been occurring or how other metrics have been for my EC2 instance over a period of time. Now going back in here, there is also a button for enable detailed monitoring. If I click on this, right now I'm getting 5-minute frequency data for all the metrics that we saw so far. If I enable this detailed monitoring, then I'll get 1-minute frequency and lot more data. But this carries an additional price tag with it. So you have to be careful. If you have the demand for it, then you should enable it. If not, then you should leave it be. For production EC2 instances, I highly recommend that you enable the detailed monitoring. Now this is the reactive part of it. For the proactive part, to set up alerts, you can do that by creating something called create alarm. Just click on this particular button. It will bring a pop-up where you can create an alarm. For this, it uses SNS topics. With the topic, you are creating a topic over here, and then later on, you will be able to tweak that topic and take some actions on that topic. If, let's say, that criteria that you define here triggers a notification in that topic, then an email can be sent or a AWS Lambda function can be invoked. So you can build automation that can take some action if something makes this alarm go, if something triggers this alarm. So click on the create topic since I don't have any topic, and then I'll provide it with a name. Let's say first topic 101, and I'll provide a recipient email ID, and I can provide some criteria. Let's say if the CPU utilization goes equal to or over 80% for at least one consecutive period of 5 minutes, then name of the alarm will be this, that is already populated. You can change this as well. All I need to do is create alarm, and then this alarm has been created for me now. Now, if I want to make additional modifications or want to view details for this particular alarm, I can simply click in here and it will open a new window. It will again launch CloudWatch Management Console, and then over here I can play around with the alarm. So it will show me the current data how CPU utilization has been and what is the criteria right now for this particular alarm to trigger. If this blue line, which is the actual CPU utilization, it touches this red line, then this alarm gets triggered. I can scroll down and look at the details of this particular alarm. I can scroll even further and I can see what are the actions that will be taken. Right now, this has not been configured. It just sends a message to SNS topic. What happens when the message is sent to SNS topic, that we still need to configure. Right now, only the email that we configured, an email will be sent to that particular email ID. That's it. And it also says that this is pending confirmation. So I'll receive an email in which I'll need to confirm that I confirm that subscription to this particular SNS topic. The history section down below, it shows you what has happened so far with this particular alarm. We have configured the update and we have a state update for this particular alarm. It went from insufficient data to OK. That means it started gathering the data. It did not have any data. And then immediately it turned to OK because it gathered that particular data for CPU utilization and it had sufficient data. Now, another thing about this particular alarm I can do is, since this is sending to SNS topic, I can come back to my first screen, click on services, and then search for SNS and go to this particular simple notification service. In here, if I go to topic, it will show me that that particular topic that we created from the alarm is listed here. I can click on subscriptions. It says the first subscription, that is the email subscription. When that alarm will get triggered, it will send a notification to the topic and then that will send an email to this particular subscription. This is pending confirmation. The email that I will receive, I'll click confirm from that particular email and that will confirm the subscription. If I need to go one step further and I need to configure, let's say, AWS Lambda function to execute and automatically resolve that particular alarm for me, then I can click on create subscription, select the topic that I have, which is the first topic 101 we created earlier, select the protocol. Now this is the crux from where you can create the automation. You can have HTTP, HTTPS, where some webhook of some third-party tool that can be invoked. You can send emails, you can send the data to Amazon SQS or AWS Lambda. And then for AWS Lambda function, you need to have that function already ready in your system, and then you can provide that over here. Right now, I do not have any AWS Lambda function, so I can't provide that in here. But this is where you set up the automation where a function, a code can execute if your alarm is triggered. If, let's say, your CPU utilization for your EC2 instance, it goes above 80%, then you can have this automation. So that's all about what we are going to cover in this particular video. We saw how we can be reactive and look at the data, look at the monitoring aspects of EC2 instance and try to find out where an issue could be. Could it be with respect to CPU utilization or disk IOPS or network? Or we can go even one step further and create an alarm, be proactive, and then even configure automation on top of that. In subsequent videos, we'll be looking at further more aspects of EC2 instances. That's it for now. See you in the next one.